Let's have a look at this piece of woodland. It's quite an overhung edge onto this grassland. Let's turn round. There's quite a steep bank here, so let's have a look. Right down there seems to be quite a lot of wind blow. You see those old root plates down in there? Let's go and check it out. It's quite wet underfoot here. And there we've got the start of a spring. Very wet underfoot. Let's see if we can find this spring. There it is. And it runs down there. So that gives us a clue. And it feels like there's quite a high organic matter layer. There's a root plate. There's an ash that's been blown down for quite a while. This is quite a big ash here. I think I have to stand back from it a bit. It's quite a reasonable size. Don't know what the but there's a branch there, and then it goes up to a nasty fork. Normally those forks suffer from wind snap. There's another wind-blown tree, and the sun's trying to come out, so I'll just have to bear that in mind. That's a recent snapped off in the bottom, bit of rot. Let's go and have a look. There, it was rotten. We see in here it was rotten, and it's moving in this wind. Let's see if I can probably stand back from it a bit. You might not be able to see this, but it's actually moving in the wind, so I think I'll move away from that. That's a root plate, and quite a big ash. There's the stem, and it goes through. I can hear that hung up tree creaking. It will be down soon. But this one here is still alive. So all these are growing up like trees off this main stem. There's a couple of nice big oaks there. Quite a big one in the back there, and quite a decent one there. Look at that. That's a piece of oak, and it's actually, and I don't know whether we'll be able to see this, it's actually off there, that limb there. But this is a decent oak. Quite a good size. That's 2'6" in diameter, something like that. I'll try and get across this ditch without sinking. And it looks like it's reasonably sound. Let's move round to this side. Yes, it's quite a sound tree. Quite a nice first length. Another big oak here. That's 3 foot. But with some wind damage in the top. Coming down. got another crown there. That's an oak that's blown over a while ago. We might hear that tree that's snapped and leaning off. If this wind gets up a bit more, we'll probably hear that go. And we've got here some Norway spruce, a little block of Norway with some ash around it. It's a bit drier underfoot here. Not bad Norway, they're up there and they seem to have reasonable crowns. Yeah, the crowns probably want to get a bit bigger. There's a dead one there, if I can see it in the viewfinder. There's a dead one there, which sort of says competition. It has to be thinned quite gently, or else they just snap off or blow over or something like that. And down in there, there's a couple of root plates just in there where some of it's blown over. We've got a reasonable size ash there. It's quite a strong straight stem. Again, that fork in the crown, but it's not snapped off yet. And that's a good 3 foot in diameter. But look at this one. There's a poplar there. And that's a good 5 foot in diameter. And that fork has survived, although there's a side branch snapped off and there's a bit of crown snapped. There's going to be a storm coming over shortly, so we have to thrash on. So that's quite a big beast. I bet you actually across the buttresses it's the best part of 7 foot. And we put some yellow dots on it to keep it. Now look what's there in the distance. It snapped a big ash all the way through. And there's the top through there. It's damaged a couple of those Norways, but it's the ash. Let's go and have a look. Well, looky there. Bit of rot in the bottom for the first, say, 6 foot, and the rest is very nice. But it's twisted the top right out. There's the stem from a bit of rot in the base all the way up. Firewood now. Let's go and have a look. There's a huge ash. That's 4 foot. Quite a big crown. I don't know how this is coming on, poking the camera up into the sky like that, but it gives you an idea. And it gets dark and then the camera adjusts itself. There we go. Some big ash there. That double stem one. And it's got some bracket fungus on it. Let's see if we can do the old without shaking like a shaky thing. There's some bracket fungus just there. Come on, camera, focus. I'm not very good at that, holding the camera. Then we got some smaller ash here, but again it's caught wet underfoot. And we've actually got a stream here running from a spring, because there's There's no streams coming into this wood from the top end. If you can see those yellow marks, it's marked to keep. Trying to keep the best. If you look up here, look at the crowns. For ash, they're all far too close together, and it's created these horrible bendy things. And here comes the rain, so let's just make the best of it. And that's an alder. Somewhere along here. A couple of oaks there. One of them's a pippy oak. Those bunches of epicormic growth on there. Are you going to focus, camera, or what? So this is sort of desperate for a good thing. Hello, there's a bit more windblow here. Reasonable sized ash there. Straight as a straight thing, a bit knobbly further up. Quite a big ash there. We're getting into the soft area again, so no doubt a lot of these trees will have rot in the bottom. There's some damage and rot, and there on that tree there you've got ash bacterial canker. That's always a sign that there hasn't been enough ventilation, and that's quite a bad one. Back up this side, there's a big spruce there, marked to keep. Quite a nice feature tree, waving around in the breeze. And there's some cut-off ditches here, and the rain's starting to come down. No doubt another month and there'll be quite a lot of wildflowers in here. That bank side up there, there's quite a lot of windblow in there. I was going to go across this bridge, but I don't think so. Looks as dodgy as a dodgy thing. Just looking back, there's that big spruce. Root plates sticking up everywhere. I'm right next to a big alder here, so I'll just move away from it so you can see it. There's a big alder. The alder sort of says there's another alder. It says, well, it's pretty wet round here. Windblow, that's quite recent. Chalky clay soil, but it was rotten up the middle, but it pulled out rotten roots. And there's another windblow here, quite a big one. Let's just go and have a look. And this is very recent. Look at all that root plate it's pulled up. And the hole is quite deep, 3 foot 6 deep. Then it was rotten up the middle, but big. Rotten roots one side, good roots the other. So I'm assuming that the tree twisted, pulled out the ground a bit, and there was no stopping it then. Anyway, the rain's coming on, so let's get out of here. Back to the Norway.